Welcome everyone to the 102nd edition of the Nuthouse podcast, brought to you by boxsalem.com. I'm your host Andy Patterson. And today I've got Adam Smith just back from Lisbon from a stag do, Donny Baseball, Paul Webb, Alex Morris, and we hope to have the award-winning Steve Wellens with us a little bit later on. Thank you, Paul. We're going to get a bit of feedback off you off show, I think. But anyway, no fights that piqued many folks' interest this week, which doesn't mean to say it's all been quiet on the box in front. It was actually a nice wee surprise this week, I suppose. Pleasant detour from the politics of the sport that we've had to endure for years, be it years of drawn-out talks between Mayweather, Pacquiao, Frampton against Quigg, Khan against Brook and stuff like that. And just when you thought about sacking off all the talk of Amir Khan and his career right out the blue, comes the news that Canelo Alvarez will now take on Amir Khan on May 7th at the new T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Now, I've got to be honest, even though I wanted to see Cam Brook and stuff, but I'm absolutely delighted this fight's been made because A, we didn't have any of the bullshit to put up with, any of the politics or the fucking going of to and throwing back and forth on Twitter, Facebook or whatever, in the press, the fucking written media sites and all that sort of stuff. I come home from work at 5 o'clock, I sat down, the telly on, it's a wee bit of relaxation, put the phone on Twitter, and then the whole place has gone absolutely crazy. You know, I'm happy with the fight. Now, initial opinions are how can Khan stand up to an actually bigger Canelo? We'll discuss that. So one thing is for certain, though, if Khan is going to win this fight, he needs to box to box a fight of a lifetime basically, and use the guile to do it. The problem is, has he got the guile to outlast Canelo and win it on points? So we'll go to the big Amir Khan fan on this fucking podcast, Donny Baseball. Donny, you take it away, mate. First off the bat, obviously we'll try and keep it as professional as possible. Bullshit.
One second, don't start with me. My connection.
Can I start with you? I run a shit round about here.
Yeah, wait.
If I say I'm going to you first, I'm coming to you first. Then I start dictating terms round about here, right? I'm coming to you first because what I was going to say is you can troll Brook all you want, but you happy with this fight instead of the Brook fight?
Is it better than the Brook fight?
Yeah, you happy to see this fight more than the Brook fight?
Is that even? Come on, for the
I can't hear a word
year,
you're saying. You're breaking up. Start again.
How about now?
Right, try now. Fuck me.
I said for the last year, I as the resident Amir Khan fan on this pod has had to take abuse after abuse, saying that he's
Quite
ducking.
rightly.
Hello.
Quite rightly, you took abuse in this podcast.
That he's ducking Kell Brook, that he's ducking Keith Thurman, that he's ducking this, and then he goes and takes a fight that's more dangerous than all of those guys. So, I mean, obviously, I think really every single Amir Khan hater has to basically suck his balls right now, his enormous, gigantic balls, because, he's obviously proven that he's not afraid of a big puncher, and he's not afraid of a big man, because that's what he's going to be getting on May 7th, isn't it?
What he's getting May 7th, Donny boy, is getting slaughtered. That's what's happening to him.
Well, I think that's sort of the easy way to look at it. I think that, trying to put my bias aside because I am a big fan, I would say, though, that the one thing I think that anyone could agree on, no matter what you think of Khan, is that it is going to be interesting for as long as it lasts. And I do think that he has the skill set to beat Canelo. The thing is, though, is that, will he be disciplined enough to box to a game plan for 12 full rounds?
No.
Well, yeah. Well, the real question then, if you don't believe that, is how long will he be able to do it? Because he does have the skills to trouble Canelo. Canelo likes guys that stand in front of him, and he doesn't like movement, and he doesn't like speed. Khan has fast hands and fast feet. And, Mayweather just completely clowned him. Now, I know Amir Khan is not Floyd Mayweather, but what I'm saying is that, he does have – he's not going to like someone that's going to be moving around a lot. Ironically, even though I think, Gennady Golovkin would obviously, I think he would probably smash Canelo Alvarez. I think that in some ways, Canelo actually might look better for as long as that fight lasts, because at least he'd have an opponent who's going to be doing what he wants, which is standing – right there and firing away and slugging it out. I don't think that I think Canelo has trouble cutting off the ring, and I think that Khan has great stamina, and he does have the gas tank, I think, to to execute that game plan for the 12 rounds. Just that in the past he's shown to have mental lapses or to just sort of lose focus. And but if Virgil Hunter has successfully sort of taken some of those tendencies out of him, if he can avoid some mistakes, I think it could be a very, very good fight. And I can't be surprised with the selection because, with their opening in that T-Mobile Arena, Canelo Alvarez is trying to make a statement. He's trying to say, I'm going to be the big, pay-per-view star for the next century. I'm sorry, for the next decade. And, they weren't going to fill a 20,000-seat arena with fucking Gabe Rosado. I mean, they needed a name. They went out, they got one. You could say what you want, but, it was never going to be, a 50-50 fight with the Golovkin fight looming. I think they went out and they did something that I think is, in their mind, safe, but I think in reality is a pretty interesting fight. They got a big name. It's going to be a great fight.
Paul, I was listening back to last week's podcast. I can't remember. You actually called maybe this fight actually happening, did you not? You want to take some plaudits?
I'll take a few for a change. No, I did think it was a potential fight. I thought it was something that Canelo might consider because as much as Canelo is technically a middleweight champion, it wasn't that long ago he was fighting down at the lower weights, and I thought that he'd want a challenger with a name, but a challenger that would be in theory, a fairly safe fight for him. And I think that Khan, in a way, ticks quite a few of those boxes. I think the actual fight is an interesting one. I think that Canelo obviously is a heavy favourite, mainly down to the fact that Amir Khan has proven in the past to be sort of unable to sustain a full game plan over the distance. The last time I can remember him really doing that was when he beat Kotelnik, and he fought almost 12 exactly equal rounds. But I haven't seen him do that in a long time, and even fights he's done well in, he's done well in stages, not consistently throughout the fight. But it's a massive fight. I mean, is it the fight that we were really talking about, Khan Brook? No. And even when I sort of suggested this or muted it last week, I was still taken aback, as we all were, I think, when it got announced. In a way, it was great. Like you say, we didn't have to endure months and months of, I want this percentage, I want that split, and all these negotiations. It was just two people, right, let's get this fight on, and they've done it. And I think, well, it'll be a huge, just imagine if Khan wins. His ego already. Imagine what it'll be like if he pulls this off. But I think it's more.
What Donny will be like.
Oh, I know exactly. And to be fair, like I said, when we always had this Khan Brook conversation, I'm a fan of Khan. I went to see Khan live quite a few times, and I've always liked the way he fights because every Amir Khan fight's exciting, but not necessarily for the right reasons. If you're Amir Khan, it's because at any point, no matter how far ahead he is, he could get knocked out or he could get very badly hurt. And Canelo, as much as he looked a bit of a slouch when he fought Mayweather, as Donny rightly says, Khan isn't Mayweather. I don't see Khan being able to box and move around him for 36 minutes. I can see him being ahead after 3 or 4 rounds, but I think Canelo will catch up to him and knock him out. But great fight, really chuffed it's happening, and roll on, May.
The thing is, though, if you go back, I only watched it last week for the first time, the Chris Algieri fight. He hurt him at least twice in that fight, overhand rights. Okay, now we saw what Canelo was overhand right did to Kirtland. Now, you know how Khan likes to move out of distance to straight lines with the earmuffs up and stuff like that. He's just right pickings. He's going to stand in the pocket. It's a fraction second too long, and he's going to start getting massaged to the ribs. If he sticks on these ropes, he is fucking done for. And I could see him get the stop probably even slightly later in the fight, actually.
Do you know what he stopped doing? It's because remember after we had obviously the problems with Prescott when he got absolutely flattened, he fought very. It wasn't so much he fought defensively minded, but yeah, he fought with his gloves practically covering his eyes. I remember saying to it once, he looked like such a strange style, but obviously the whole point was to protect himself from heavy shots. And he jabbed very hard because he was tall at that weight when he was fighting down at 140. He could afford to do that, but now he's going to be in with a guy who's going to match him. Canelo's not bigger than Khan, that's a point to make out in terms of arm reach, in terms of height and size. It's not like it's going to be David versus Goliath in there. They actually match up fairly well.
Well, he is a lot bigger, to be fair. Sorry to interject there, but he is a lot bigger where, pretty much everywhere it matters. He's a lot wider. His legs are fucking massive. His shoulders are just gigantic. Let me jump in there also,
Alex. Let me jump in there also. Did anybody think that Canelo was a bigger fighter over Cotto?
He's massive.
Exactly. There we go. And Khan's a big dude, but this 5'10" people going about. He's no 5'10", he's about 5'8". I remember seeing him with Ricky Burns one day. Actually, he was a fraction bigger than Ricky Burns.
Yeah, and that was my point that I was going to make, was just the fact that he's going to be fighting someone either very slightly taller than him or similar in height. The way that Amir Khan throws that jab, he's always open to that counter. When he's fighting little opponents, he's able to get away with it. But I think he leaves his hand too low, and I think that's against a fighter like Canelo, who has such a strong overhand right. I think you're sort of asking for trouble, and I think that will be the undoing in the fight. I don't think he'll be hurt to the body. I don't think he'll take a sustained beating. I think it'll be a single shot that will either have him very badly hit or very badly buzzed and put down, or will put him away completely. I don't see him being completely outboxed though. That's the point I'm trying to make. I think he just won't live with the power.
Yeah, all I can imagine is when Canelo caught Trout with that right hand down the middle, and it fucking Bambi on ice. He just fucking went all over the place. That's what I can see happening to Khan. I can see him, trying to box. He's going to dart in and out, as he usually does, because that's the best plan that he's got. He's got to, move in and attack in bursts and then zip back out again. That's the only way he's going to really beat Canelo, I think, because he knows if he gets caught, it's game over. But as we've seen time and time again, Amir can't do that. He can't do that against, shall we say, superior opposition. He does that against mediocre opposition. He does that against, average competition such as Collazo that we've seen recently, especially these higher weights. But when he gets in with bigger guys, bigger punchers, he usually ends up getting tagged. We saw even against Maidana, that fight, when he looked really good early on, but as the fight progressed on, he got caught, he got tagged. He always does. And I mean, the size. I mean, as I just mentioned about the size, then the height difference. Khan probably has the edge there, maybe an inch or two. Reach wise, I mean, I haven't really looked it up properly, but again, he'll have the.
Actually, no, Khan has reach as well. He has a freakishly long wingspan.
Yeah. His arms will be big, but again, it's just the strength of it. It's going to be, I think, just the body size of Canelo. I think even it depends how I suppose it does. There is the mystery of how Khan fills out at the weight. I mean, it's obviously his first venture up to God knows how many extra pounds he's going to be gaining, because we don't know what he's can actually weigh in on the night. But it depends how he feels out there. But he's certainly not going to be anywhere near what Canelo looks like, who's been 155 seems to have been his weight for fucking ages now. That Canelo weight, and his body's just absolutely perfect for it. Khan's really having to put on weight for this. If he does at all, he might come in at 147, 148 and just go for the speed option. But you have to think that he's gonna, I don't know, bulk up a little bit, try to put some muscle on that chin of his. And again, the only plan I see that he's got is to dart in and out, to be very fleet-footed and zip away. But is he? First of all, can he do that for 12? Probably not. And secondly, is he going to get a decision against Canelo in Vegas?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo.
I mean, fuck, man.
When Khan fought Alexander, wasn't he about? Oh, sorry, mate. Carry on.
No,
Donnie. Okay, Paul, you take over.
I was going just about the weight thing. When Khan, to be fair, again, we're talking about Khan like he's a small guy. When Khan fought Alexander and when Khan fought Collazo, he was definitely mid to late 150s in the ring. I think the fact that
161.
Yeah, so I mean, he put on size. Now, granted, Canelo has been given no rehydration clause from what we read, which is just staggering from Khan's side. But they are the B side in the fight. Canelo's going to outweigh him, but by probably 10 pounds. It's not going to be 25, 30 pounds like the way some people are talking. It's not going to be that big a size disparity.
10 I don't think it's still a lot of weight, though. I'm telling you. I tell you what, you go about with 3 packs of sugar in your backpack and tell me 10 pounds isn't a difference.
I've got plenty of spare 10 pounds. That's my problem.
There you go. I'm telling you, 10 pounds is a fucking big difference when you got a big guy marching towards you and you can't hurt him. Because all Khan's going to do is jab and he's going to throw the right hand. And what's going to happen with the right hand is he doesn't throw it straight enough. He throws it like a looping shot. And when he fucking overreaches with that shot, Canelo, who's we've seen, is started picking up a wee defensive technique with the kind of body and head movement and stuff, kind of that kind of swivel that he does. He's just going to counter Khan. He's going to catch him with the right hand, and Khan's going to be wondering what the fuck happened because he's going to be lying spark to it on the fucking floor.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And like I say, no matter what the weight situation is, I just think there's just a fundamental difference in skill. I mean, for all of Khan's achievements, Canelo has mixed at a higher level. It's not like he's not been in with a style like Khan. He's been in with quick guys. in with guys who are smaller, in with guys who've got better in terms of range and the
Well, on that
length of the
topic,
shots.
then, sorry to interrupt again.
That's right.
On that topic, we've got a question from Twitter. It just reminded me of it. Who's got the better resume, Khan or Canelo?
Oh, Canelo, all day, every day. Definitely Canelo. And I'm a Khan fan, but Canelo.
I think maybe the question though might be implying like, the fact that a lot of people didn't think he won the Lara fight. I actually did think he won it, but a lot of people didn't think he won that fight. A lot of people thought that it was a draw, maybe with Trout. Like if you have a few fights go a different way, maybe his resume isn't all that impressive. It is like, even the question that just preceded this, that someone, I think it was Andy, that said, can he get a decision in Vegas against Canelo? There's an almost implicit assumption that if it's close, Canelo's going to get it. Why? Because historically we have seen that.
I've got to give the man credit. Obviously, I've doubted him very much so and said that he had no other options. But when you're prepared to move up 2 weight classes or 1.5 weight classes, everyone's got options. So hats off to him for taking it. Really, it was a bit of a wow moment. Now, as Paul said, we normally get rumours and talking about the purse and checks on TV and an interview saying we're getting close or whatever it may be. Came out of absolutely nowhere. I literally had my hands on my head at my desk when I saw that news, and it's got to be hats off for him to taking it. Point being, what I've always said, he's wasted 2 or 3 years of his career chasing the 2 big boys. And to my understanding, this hasn't got much if at all, to do with Uncle Al. Obviously, it's a Golden Boy fighter on a Golden Boy show, and possibly on the wrong channel in Al Heyman's eyes anyway. So, I know that Khan be criticising him for his hangers-on and ridiculous entourage, but is the problem Uncle Al? Because we've gone away from Uncle Al and he's now got the biggest fight that is available right now. He's got it. So there's got to be an Al Heyman question there.
Yeah, I actually believe that there may be some sort of friction there between Khan and, because the thing is that I think when Khan first got with Heyman, I think he was signing with him and he's like, oh, I'm already a multimillionaire. I'm already a star. I'm not going to sign my entire life over to you. So he negotiated some more wiggle room into that contract where he has more control over who he fights, and he may not necessarily be tied to the PBC stable, right? Which is and I think in his mind, he's like, oh, wow, now I got the best of both worlds. I'm with Heyman, so I got access to the PBC guys, but at the same time, I could still chase fights like Pacquiao or whatnot, or Canelo. But the thing is that if Heyman doesn't completely own him, then when it comes down to who's Heyman going to put his push behind, or if there's a big fight, is he going to give Garcia to, well, I know that would have been a mandatory, but is he going to give Garcia to Khan, or is he going to give him to Thurman, right, and give them the chance to? He's going to go with Thurman. Why? Because Al owns him. In other words, Heyman has the incentive to push fighters that are fully and completely under his banner, before he ever has an incentive to push for Khan. So really, what Khan signed up for was to try to get Mayweather. He didn't get him, and now he's stuck giving fucking 15% of all of his purses over to Heyman, and Heyman really doesn't seem to be doing much of anything for him.
Well, to be fair as well, Khan signed for Heyman of quite an early stage, obviously before the PVC, etc. So he might have a different deal anyway, by design or by just the timescale of it. But another question I was going to ask: Khan's obviously got to put weight on, not just overnight weight, but obviously weight during training and obviously for the weighting. His main attribute, as we all know, is speed. Is that going to be of hindrance? More weight, less speed?
If he puts on too much weight, I think that Khan will weigh in about 151, 152. I don't think he'll go up to the maximum, and I don't think it serves his best interest to come in, mid to late 160s on the night. I just don't think it makes sense.
Just be honest,
I
actually think Khan actually boils himself to make 147, so he's not got the big issue this time, but strenuously making weight. Whilst Canelo, I've always said he's cutting the weight very, very fine. He's always got the sweatsuit on when he starts camp and stuff. So
yeah,
it might be a more struggle for Canelo than it will be for Khan, but nothing would surprise me. It depends how good Khan keeps in shape outside the fights and stuff, but I don't see it.
I was going to ask the American guys, how is this perceived in America? Because obviously it's Canelo taking on someone not called Golovkin and someone from a lower weight again.
Well, I think the fans have been critical of Canelo and praising of Khan is pretty much what it comes down to. I mean, they're like Canelo's picking on a midget and Khan's got big balls. I think that's pretty much the narrative.
No, from you. The narrative. That's a narrative from you. Because anybody worth their salt knows Canelo fucking beat on midgets beforehand. Matthew Hatton had him come up from welterweight, remember? For his fucking
Well,
vacant
yeah.
WBC.
I mean, I think though, like, I mean, I guess what I would say is that yeah, I mean, if you look at like, the commentary on Twitter and whatnot from or on like ESPN, like the American side or whatever. I mean, basically, it's just like you got some people on one camp that are saying like Canelo is like picking on midgets and they're talking about Josecito Lopez and blah blah blah. Whereas like you got other people that are saying like look at the murderer's row of opponents he's been through. He's got a voluntary before he has to face Gennady Golovkin, assuming that he fights Golovkin. Like give the guy a break. Essentially, like this is a good fight anyways. It's exciting and it's a style that he has trouble dealing with historically. So I mean, I think that in general, I mean, there's always going to be haters of any fighter, right? Some people are going to just, harp on the fact that, I saw some jokes about, remember that, didn't Canelo beat up that, like, fucking flyweight, like, outside a bar over a woman or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, people are making jokes about that, like, oh, midget beater, like, but anyways, I mean, yeah, you're always going to have haters, but I think, in general, like Canelo's proven that he's taken all the tough challenges or whatever. So the fact that he might be fighting one guy that's smaller, I don't think is that meaningful. I don't.
Just while we mention Golovkin, I'll ask the casual question of the week: who in the world is he fighting next? I am obviously a Golovkin fanboy, and I've been all the way to New York to watch him.
Dominic Wade.
I don't even know his next opponent. I wouldn't know his next opponent if he came and sat next to him right now.
His next opponent is a guy that, if you like, by all rights, should have lost to Sam Solomon like 5 months ago.
Exactly.
The guy's pretty shitty. I mean, it's gonna be it's a shitty fight when like Al Heyman goes, hey, you know what? No thanks. I won't even do a purse bid for this. Like he didn't even want to put it on PBC. He just said, fuck it, HBO can have this fight.
He's never done 12 rounds, has he, Wade? Like he's never been in a 12-round scheduled fight. Not necessarily that he's never done the distance.
I think he's at
110. Doing 12 this time.
Yep. Just before we move on to some of the Twitter questions relating to the Canelo fight, actually, just we're talking about surprises and how things have been built up over the course of certain weeks and months and stuff, and it came right out of the blue. Another fight came right out of the blue, and obviously some people are going to say it's an obvious mismatch, but Guillermo Rigo will be fighting in the UK for the first time since he won his World Amateur title, actually, against Dickens, a 10-round super bantamweight fight. Now this one just came right out of left field, just like Canelo. Obviously, many fight purists that will be happy to see Rigo, and that's obviously it's on an undercard, Terry Flanagan, Derry Matthews rearrangement on the 12th of March, sorry. So fair play to Jazza Dickens and if he pulls it off, man, you just don't know what's going to come of that next.
That's a big purist card, that, because we've got fucking Zolani Tete on there as well.
Yep. TBA.
You've got to say fair play to Frank, really.
By a tough opponent.
There is something to this whole quiet non-disclosure thing, and then the news just hits you quite out of the blue. I think it actually does a great deal of free publicity because I don't know. It just seems like this Canelo Khan fight has just been talked about so much because it came out of the blue. People can't stop wow, it's like a big exciting thing, and you get a lot of mention. I know it was like one of the top trending things on Twitter when the news first broke, and I mean it's a big deal for boxing to be one of the top things that's being talked about. And it's I think that you might see this more often now because I think that they've gotten a lot of free publicity for the fight just by kind of keeping it a secret until it ultimately happened.
Right, just going to some of these Twitter questions relating to this fight actually, but Emily Rogerson asks Paul, if Khan pulls off the upset and beats Canelo, surely the Brook fight will never happen because his demands will be more unrealistic.
Well, let's say, for example, that at the moment the split in Khan's eyes or in Khan's 85 lawyers' eyes is that it should be 80-20 now.
1% per lawyer.
Well, exactly. After this fight, and after Brook beats Bizier, if Khan wins in May, he's beaten arguably the biggest pay-per-view star in America. The Khan Brook fight never happens if Khan wins. That's my thinking. If not, Brook, and I already think Brook is in this position where I think him and Hearn have decided that they are now willing to travel and take a small cut because they have to deliver a major fight. Now, are they willing to take that small cut against Khan? Maybe they'll have to, and I think they're probably sitting around now thinking we should have taken 80-20 because it would have been a kick to the ego, but Brook would possibly go in as favourite, could have won that fight. Instead, he's got 100% of nothing. He's fighting Bizier, and if Khan wins, Khan will his ego and to be fair, it'll be justified. Will be that high that he'll never consider Kell Brook. It will be Hatton Witter Part 2.
Well, if his lawyer said 80-20, right, and Eddie and Kell turned around and said yes straight away to that, no messing about in the media. What I'm saying is, I still don't believe Khan would have fought Brook for 80-20. Still don't believe he would. I ain't saying he's scared and all that. I'm just saying they've thrown it out there to be idiots because they've definitely got that in them. I just think it was a token silly gesture.
I'm not going to say he's out and outright ducking Brook, but I'll put it this way: if he's got intentions of continue fighting, right, his career will be damaged beyond repair. Actually, if he ends up getting knocked out by his biggest rival in UK soil, he would just he would quit and he would be laughed at as a laughing stock. And the simple fact is, he was just a glass jaw fraud. That's what he get classed as.
No, he would, and also the fact that he sees that he doesn't have to fight Brook. And again, I make the Hatton Witter comparison. Junior Witter was the WBC champion. You know, he was a legit opponent. Hatton never considered that fight, never wanted it. Even in the early days, he never thought about that. And once Hatton got his major win, he would never look back. And this would be the same situation with Khan. I think that Khan would have taken the fight if they'd have dominated the negotiations. Like I say, if they'd have got the 80-20, if it had been, Khan Promotions, because that's just the way their side works. They perceive themselves to be much bigger than they are, or at least that's what I thought, and then they go and pull off signing a deal with Canelo. So maybe that Khan's pull on both sides, well, certainly on that side of the Atlantic, was a lot bigger than most of us realised. And when Kell Brook, who fights at the Sheffield Arena in front of a few thousand people, who's got one good win in America but not a lot since, maybe the idea of 60-40 was actually a bit silly. And as much as I don't want to talk about money because I think it's boring, but maybe we were wrong to think that Khan was daft for demanding so much when he's now going to earn millions and fight in a huge pay-per-view fight in America.
Does he earn more?
I think so. I think that from the purses, apparently, he seems to have got quite a decent share of it. And I think that if it sells well on HBO...
what it is he's got, in America, it's so Canelo gets 55 and Khan gets 45 in America. And in the UK pay-per-view, Khan gets 55 and Canelo gets 45.
Well, talking of UK pay-per-view, who is it?
What did you say?
Who will have it in the UK?
I don't know about that.
You've got to think box office will want this fight. I mean, it screams everything for them, but it's just, obviously, we'll have this whole hoo-ha about whether they can do it. The interesting thing will be that the Klitschko-Fury preferred date at the Allianz was May the 7th. Now, that will either go out the window completely, or you'd like to think, in a lovely ideal world, that they'd put both on the same day. You pay $16.95 and you get the fight earlier in the evening for Fury Klitschko.
Paul,
and then
stop dreaming.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And then if you want to, you also get that later in the night. But we all know that won't happen. They'd rather delay the fight by 3 weeks to charge us double. But
well, in an ideal world, they wouldn't charge us for either fucking fight.
But
that's true.
Can I just say on the Sky thing, they've got no interest at middleweight. They don't, they've got an interest in Khan, obviously. They've got no interest in middleweight or Canelo. Obviously, they're going to be Eddie will be a bit scolded from the Brook thing. Not that he runs Sky, but he will be a bit scolded.
Eddie helped make this fight, mate.
So basically, if them two fights were to take place on May the 7th, I think neither of them are certain to be on Sky. Obviously, Fury was on the last time. I just think it's got the Canelo corner's got Box Nation debut pay-per-view #1 written all over it.
Right.
Hey guys, how many people do you think there'll be a decent UK contingent that travels over for the fight?
Probably not.
Well, he'll say that it's 1 million.
No, they won't. They won't. I reckon there'll be a couple, Yeah, I reckon there'll be a couple of thousand at absolute most. There'll be people that will be going because they want to go to Vegas, and they probably had it in their mind that they were going to go over for May anyway, because obviously Cinco de Mayo is always a big fight, whatever the opponent's going to be. But he won't bring numbers that Lewis did or Hatton or anyone else like that. It won't be close. It'll be a very small percentage.
Just to let the listeners know is you won't hear it live tonight, but for the download section of the podcast, you will get an interview with the legendary matchmaker of our 40 years, Mr. Ron Katz, who myself, Alex, and I think it was Matty D spoke to on Thursday night, Friday night, Alex, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Some good shit anyway. Next question comes in for Michael Gerrity. Adam, why has there been a blanket of silence for everyone associated with MGN since the shooting? Matt Macklin hasn't said a word.
Well, it's a bit
Okay,
naughty.
moving on from that, from
Yeah.
gangster.
Hey, look, we've said before that there's problems, and this is a crossover between a sport and criminality, and it's gone horribly wrong. It's a horrible event, and it shouldn't be happening. Simple as that. And there's a lot of people, including Macklin, including TV channels, including YouTube channels, including boxers, that have going to be made to look foolish by their association.
Well,
I'll go a bit further and say they're not just going to look foolish. I think they're absolute cunts for being associated with this particular group. And any fan who supports these boxers or this group are also cunts, and they should fuck off from the sport.
And I do wonder that for all that, I mean, there's an obvious reason why so many fighters are involved with MGM, because obviously MGM are good money. They've got good quality gyms. Obviously, the owner is a hugely involved in boxing. He's making a lot of things happen behind the scenes that we don't really see or know about. But like I say, you can't be both. You have to choose what you're going to be. You're either going to be legit in business, or you're going to be the alternative. And if you want to be the alternative, that's fine. But it's very difficult to cross the sport with that. And you know, that video that we've all seen, and I know we're not going to go in depth on it, is for anyone who's we see kids, that little girl outside is heartbreaking hearing her ask what's going on, and the terror in her voice at a boxing weigh-in is just ridiculous, and we can't have that again. But I don't think anything will change from the people that you've named. No, I think they'll all stick, but they really all should be having a long hard look at themselves.
It will blow over in about a couple of weeks. People will forget about it, and it will carry on as if it was as you said, no one will mention it, and for good reason, to be honest. We probably shouldn't be talking about it because they're serious people, and it's fucking travesty. But there you go.
When you say we shouldn't be talking about it, are you saying that we shouldn't be talking about it because you don't want to almost like give them any press? Are you saying
no, man, fuck's sake! Listen, what's the first rule of the underworld, by the way? You don't talk about it. Exactly. You keep your fucking mouth shut. In other words, reprisals. All we're saying is, when it happened and stuff, the fact is you got innocence there. You walk in with AK-47s, man. This isn't like Baghdad we're talking about, or fucking Syria, where there's people out in the warfields killing each other. This is a fucking hotel, and they walk in with AK-47s.
And there's news crews there. There's loads of photographers, and like I said, and hundreds of people, about 400 people they said that were in that room, families, kids. It's ludicrous. It's the kind of thing that you don't expect to see anywhere, let alone to do with a sport. And like I said, the fact that the news over here gave it such little coverage, news in Ireland have been all over it, because I think the Irish papers are fed up with the situation they've got, because this is a fairly frequent occurrence now. Yeah. But the fact that if this was, a football match, if this was anything other than boxing, it's almost assumed that, boxing's a bit of a dirty sport because of its past. But I think for the most part, we've got past that now, and I just don't like it. But like I said, we'll go to shows and we'll see lots of people wearing their t-shirts, and it's each to their own. But
it's not in Sky's interest to cover that, right? They don't want to.
Box Nation was picking it up. Box Nation was showing that. Box Nation are going to show that show on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying it's not in Sky's interest to, make boxing look like a place full of So
Well, there's plenty of Sky Fighters that are part of that stable. So that's the thing.
yeah.
I mean, Billy Joe Saunders, we're talking legit fighters here
Well,
who
Martin Murray just signed with them last week.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, and they're going for a reason, so that there are obvious advantages and obvious reasons why they want to do it. And what can you, like I said, and the amount of involvement with Warren shows that they have with MGM Marbella. It's not. We can't say it's all bad. They're obviously doing a lot of good things. The gym. They've opened a gym in Birmingham recently, and I know they've got a lot of stuff going on there that's not just for pro fighters. But like I said, I think we've covered it pretty clear. It's horrible. We can't see it again, and a lot of people should really think about what they're doing. But I don't expect any change, like Alex said.
Right, Alex, Boxing Banter UK asks, fair play to Frank for getting Rigo, but when does one of Rigo, Tete, or Terry, or Derry pull out?
Well, it does seem to, a lot of the time with Warren, it does seem too good to be true, doesn't it? Hopefully that's not the case. I mean, I've heard that Rigo's most likely being paid by Rock Nation for his appearance over here anyway, so it's not as if Warren has an excuse to sort of bin him off or feign injury or whatever. He's not having to cover his purse. Tete, I think he's pretty much a new signing with Warren, and I think that he would quickly fuck off if he was messing about like that. Obviously Terry and Derry are the main event. I'm going to be optimistic and say that this will go ahead, and mostly because I want it to. I want to see Rigo, I want to see Tete, and I want to see Terry Flanagan absolutely destroy Derry Matthews because he talks some absolute shite.
Flanagan will retire Derry Matthews.
Hopefully.
Nicholas Edge asks the next question, Donnie, you should go through the path for Jimmy McDonnell in the next 2 years and who would win in any potential matchups?
Who would win any matchups with McDonnell?
Just he's planning his career for the next 2 years, so to speak. See, but I see the way I hear people talk and what I know about McDonnell and stuff. I don't expect him to be fighting for too much longer.
Yeah, he's kind of in it. Like he has.
He's in it for the money. Yep, he's got his mortgage paid off. That's what we live for sometimes.
He still works.
He's married. He's got a young kid and stuff like that.
And he does contracting for houses. Like he
does like a bit of decorating and that. I think if anything, he'll maybe try and target the winner of Quigg Frampton, and then he'll just try and get the biggest.
Yeah, that's his big money fight, of course. Yeah, he's going to go for that. But I mean, if I wanted to plan his career out like from a fan's perspective, I mean, I'd like to see him fight out Anselmo Moreno, and Rigo and the winner of Quigg Frampton. Yeah, but I mean, those are the only one that I really see happening. Though is the winner of Quigg Frampton.
Alex? Who was the one he was mentioned to be fighting or rumored to be fighting in America?
Well, Payano, isn't it?
Payano, because the Panamanians are trying to sort out all this shit.
Yeah, we just got a question come in for Dewey Powell just then talking about the Panamanians cleaning up their act. Is it sincere? Do we think they're going to actually be doing it, or are they just handpicking a few fights to make it look like they're going to clean their act up?
Well, I mean, I
heard
that it's not going to proliferate.
I mean, what have they ordered so far? They've ordered, obviously, well, apparently they've ordered Payano McDonnell. They've ordered
the WBA, the heavyweight tournament, which is apparently Ruslan Chagaev's apparently pulled out now, according to non-English speaking sources.
He hasn't. That's bullshit. I know that's bullshit.
I'm aware that's also bullshit.
Crawler
versus Barroso. They've ordered.
They said they're gonna order Golovkin Jacobs as soon as the Canelo fight happens.
Wow. But do you know all this is? Do you know all this is? It's ridiculous, right? It's basically the WBA have spent a number of years building up to having over 40 world champions, almost to the point where they had, and people have been hammering them. And now it's as if Mendoza is looking for some sort of credit because he's looking to create one champion per division. The only thing I can compare it to, it's a bit like someone who has a life of crime, and then they go around schools telling kids not to commit crime. It's ridiculous. And the fights he's trying to make, he's making these unification in his view fight, which a lot of them are big fights. There's some quite decent names who have got regular belts or interim belts, and again, it's just an excuse for them to make more money. The idea that they're trying to make a big point of reducing their champions down, they should never have had that many in the first place. They should only have ever had 17, and because of the amount of mess he's created, it's going to take years, months and months, going into years to level down these champions. And what they're going to do, tell the guys they're going to strip them? Well, there was no obligation when they won an interim or a regular belt for them to fight for a main champion. And you try and tell someone like Ruslan Shagayev, you've got to fight this guy. Danny Jacobs, you've got to fight this guy. I mean, I just don't see it happening. But, he's giving it a go.
Yeah, I mean,
they're a detestable organisation, and I don't think they deserve any credit. And you're seeing proper journalists going around saying what a good thing it is. They're already beyond a joke. If you hold a WBA title, you're holding a lesser belt than the other three main organisations, in my opinion, regardless of which version of that belt that you have. And the idea that they're now saying that Rigondeaux has to fight the winner of Krieg-Frampton, almost completely ignoring the fact that Rigondeaux was stripped incorrectly in the first place. But he wants credit for saying that Rigondeaux is going to be made mandatory. It's mental.
Yeah, this is the issue, isn't it? I mean, obviously, it's good that if they are cleaning their act up, then that's a great thing. But they've fucked up so much. They've done so many shit things that it's going to take a lot more than a few token, mandatories and unifications to make up for that. I mean, you think, yeah, it's a good set. You're going the right way, but certainly there's a lot more they need to do. They need to just wipe it out completely. They just need to strip all these extraneous titles, use them very sparingly for what their purpose is. I mean, regular titles absolutely pointless. Just clean that off right now.
Well, we know with the interim. It was clear the interim titles they'd only be issued in the event of contractual problems, injuries, or other documented. It's bullshit.
Absolutely. Another fight that I was just thinking of then, it was Uchiyama Fortuna that got done this weekend. Again, great fight, but what's taking them so long? Why have they just suddenly come around to this idea? I mean,
I'm just going to throw it out there. It's lucky, really, that there's only 3 weeks between Frampton Quigg and the Rigo fight, because Rigo versus Jazza Dickens for the WBA Super Bantamweight title. Because the loser of the Quigg Frampton fight blames the weight, and the winner goes on to fight Shingo Wake for the IBF mandatory. He will not fight Rigo. So it's a shame, really, that Frank might want to delay the show again. If he can delay that by another month, that could be for the WBA.
Jazza ain't even ranked. Jazza ain't even ranked.
I've just figured out most of them, right? So I would reckon we're going to get the following. We're going to get Hickey Butler against knockout CP freshman at minimum weight, okay?
Yeah.
We're then going to get Takeuchi and Randy Patel-Corin at light flyweight. We're then going to get Estrada Ioka at flyweight. Possibly Concepcion Kono at super flyweight. Then McDonald Payano we discussed. We don't know what's happening with super bantamweight yet. Santa Cruz against Queller, possibly, as Queller got fucked over and passed over for the main title. Uchiyama Fortuna we mentioned. Barroso against Crawler. We'll wait and see what happens with that one. Benavidez Cloner.
No chance.
Yep. What else we go? Lara against Kulkai. I think that's an interim title involved there. Golovkin Jacobs we mentioned. Chudinov against De Carolis. And then the one I mentioned to fucking dipshit, the Panamanian president himself, I says to him, Sergei Kovalev against Jürgen Bremer, because Thomas Usthausen has been outed now from his fight with Bremer. Bremer had no opponent left. He's been putting with Edward Gutnick now, I think. Again, so Kovalev...
Bremer's a joke, man.
Kovalev could have fucking turned that fight over in a matter of weeks. He knocked that guy out in the first round. So that's the fights we've got to look forward to, potentially, if everything goes to plan. And to be honest, they're all good fights, and most of them anyway. I would say at least 90% of them are really good fights.
It's like you say, it's got to happen first. They've got to stick to it, and then they've got to, obviously not make a new regular fucking champion afterwards. And then they've got to clean up the stupid interim titles as well. I don't know how that's going to work, but there you go. I don't know. I'll try and be positive about it. Try and bring a bit of optimism and say that they're sorting their act out and going back to just the 4 champions. Days.
Right. Next question. See, I was not bad about that Jimmy McDonald question. Cheers, Nick. Omar Rashid asks Adam, Is it a temporary or permanent step up in weight for Khan? Honestly, can't see him surviving with the big punches at 147. Never mind 160. It's actually
No,
150.
no, it won't be permanent because no, when he gets knocked out, as some of us expect and hope, he'll have to move down anyway. It's clear, in a nutshell, it's reasonably simple but clever business really because if he loses to Brook, the Canelo fights nowhere. But if he loses to Canelo, he can still fight Brook. So two big money fights are still on the table. He'll have to come back down, even if it's light middle. I know it's pretty much that anyway, but yeah, I don't see him operating as a middleweight at all.
Right.
Does middleweight even exist anymore?
Well, what's funny? It's like this is so unprecedented with this thing. I mean, basically, what it is that a new weight class has been created because people don't want to fight Golovkin. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's this. I mean, there's basically like the belts that Golovkin holds. Well, then there's Saunders as well. But I mean, like, there's basically the Golovkin belts, and then there's the other belt that you fight at that you fight at 155 for because you don't want to fight at 160 because then fans might actually say fight Gennady Golovkin. It's so fucked up.
Alex, Kevin Watson asks, who would you like to see Brook fight in his huge summer fight, and who do you think it will actually be? Can I add a question to that one for you as well, mate? What's going to happen?
Skeet Eggington.
What's going to happen to the Wembley date now? Is he going to have to cancel it?
Well, Eddie Hearn's scrambling to get a refund as quickly as possible, which he probably won't get.
Don't worry, mate. He's at Super Bowl just now. He's sitting in the San Francisco sun getting he's raised on him just now. Well, we don't give a fuck about us.
Look, they had Wembley booked last year. It's no big deal. It's been provisionally booked. It was the same last year and it did happen, and it won't happen again this year.
Someone's already had it off them, haven't they? Because they have that. Eddie says in his interview they have that 5-day hold thing that if you've not got something booked in, but you're holding the date, and if someone challenges it, so obviously some concert promoter has challenged that date, saying they want it, and Hearn has, I think he said till Friday, but I'm sure that was yesterday, the Friday just gone to release it, so he doesn't have his Wembley fight. I don't think that's a thing to celebrate.
Same Friday was meant to know the Joshua opponent.
That'd be the one. I don't think it's a thing to celebrate. I know a lot of people don't like Hearn, but I think that the Wembley, as a fan experience, going may not have been the best in terms of the view, but it was a massive event.
Really bigging it up there, Paul.
Yeah, back to the original question. Who's Brook's big opponent going to be this summer? Let's not talk about stadiums and stuff. Let's talk about opponents. Let's talk about fights, boxing. That's what we hear about. Not about fucking politics, stadiums, and how much.
Let him finish his point. Let him finish his point.
No, I was just going to say, it's a shame we're not getting a mega fight. That's what I was about to say. Ignore the experience. It's a shame we aren't getting a mega fight like we got with Foxgroves 2 because it was a Wembley fight. In terms of who's Brook's mega opponent going to be this summer, he isn't going to get one.
No. I mean, I still have doubts that Brook Khan would have ever filled Wembley anyway. I mean, I'm sure a few of us are of the similar mind anyway.
I think it would.
His next big opponent this summer will be another knife wielding poof.
Right.
You have to think like a casual. The casuals absolutely love Wembley. It's in London. AJ will be on there. They will go again just because of the event. It doesn't really, as long as you've got a main event, which we haven't got. But as long as we have got one,
how much longer though?
With McDonald, Joshua, Kevin Mitchell again, and they'll sell out.
I know the fight to happen.
How much longer though will AJ ever even be able to be an undercard fighter? Because I think he's very much on. What?
Yeah, he's main event. He is the biggest fighter in Hearn's stable. Absolutely.
He's not going to be fighting on undercards anymore. I think he'll tell Eddie Hearn to shove it up his ass. He's not going to do that. He's going to want that money. He can't be using him to sell out these stadiums and then but not have him at the top of the bill collecting the lion's share of the money. That won't fly for very much longer.
Well, it won't fly at all because he is absolutely the biggest star. He's pay-per-view. I mean, at the moment he doesn't have an opponent for April. Tickets are going on sale Wednesday, and apparently his opponent is getting announced on Tuesday. Hearn could
even though it was meant to be announced last Thursday and Friday.
Hearn could probably not announce an opponent at all for another month, and that would probably sell out. At the
easily.
That's what, 20,000 early? I mean, that would sell out piece of piss.
Who thinks it's going to be Charles Martin?
No
chance.
Takam.
Martin's calling him out, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but apparently, well, according to Hearn, he wants an extortionate amount of money, but
Who does?
that's what
Yeah, but look how much money they
Martin does.
generate.
Wait. I want to know who's asking for too much money
Charles
against.
Martin apparently is asking for an extortionate amount of money,
Oh,
according
he's
to
a
Eddie
fucking
Hearn.
champion. Surely he's allowed to dictate terms.
Well, if Eddie Hearn wants a world champion, and that was his exact quote for ducking the Hay fight, he wants world titles. Surely it's worth anything that Martin is
Exactly.
asking for.
I mean, you've got a guy who is perceived. Listen, we're all just hating on the guy here. People say that right after he did it. Okay, he's the perceived weak holder of the title. Okay, why would Eddie Hearn try and move him heaven and earth to get him that?
Wait, who here doesn't think that AJ would beat Martin?
No one. But I don't hate on him. He made a good point. If AJ wins a world title off the worst guy available now, there's no more learning, right? And we saw on December the 12th, there's still learning to be done. He's still raw. He got hit. Did he handle it well? Did he gas? Did he make the right decisions? Because when you're a world champion, there's no more learning fight.
Yeah, but you can't.
You could Deontay Wilder for fuck's sake.
is,
He's
exactly.
carrying on like it.
Exactly that, because you know
Yeah,
what's going to happen.
but he's Al Heyman and can get away with it. And he's going to stop learning, and he's going to dump the belt and not fight Povetkin.
No.
And going to continue to fight Shine.
AJ will end up just fighting, the recycled IBF voluntaries and mandatory challenges. I'm looking at them just now. Steve Cunningham, Carlos Takam, Joseph Parker, Charles Martin, Glasgow. There's no fighter there that I would actually fear AJ getting beaten. Parker, I'm not even sold on whatsoever. The hype he's getting is unbelievable. But you're right enough what you're saying there, Adam, is if he picks up a title, he then is going to be called out by anyone. Same happened with Canelo when he picked up the 154 title at WBC. When he picked it up, his reign as champion was fucking terrible until he fought Austin Trout. That's when he started picking it up, because the shit that he fucking fought, Matthew Hatton, Ryan Rhodes, who isn't a shit fighter by the way, but he was forced to wait 18 months. But at his point, his prime had come and went. But I think by that point, Josito Lopez, they don't fight that other guy. What do they call him? The wee guy that was in the Contender series. Gomez.
Alfonso Gomez.
Alfonso, he fought him as well, did they not? I mean, come on. I mean, some of the defences he had was absolutely tragic. And
He
this is what
Cinch on as well.
You see this happening if AJ picks up the title, but as I say, if you're going to fucking mouth off and saying, AJ will be world champion this year in 2016, then that is the guy that you target. You moved heaven and earth to get fucking Carol Froch, Lucien Booty over for Carol Froch. Surely, for one night only, you can do with no making a wee bit of money to get your biggest ticket seller and your biggest fucking fighter on your roster.
But they still make loads of money.
Title.
And how much is Charles Martin?
Even if Charles Martin has asked for £3 million, £3 million, they would still make money. Still make money. They would sell out. Did we say that it was 7 million or roundabouts from pay-per-view December 12th?
Well, that apparently didn't. According to a few sources, probably bullshit. Rob Palmer, etc. This will tell if he's actually listening to this. The fucking lying cunt. Apparently, AJ got something like 4 million or something.
For his last fight. For his last fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So they can. So if he has asked for stupid money, they can. Stupid money. Yeah. Charles Martin hasn't asked for £10 million, has it? That's Amir Khan.
No. And
Charles
to be
Martin,
fair,
even if he's asked for £3 million, £3 million is stupid money. But AJ generates stupid money.
Yeah, but they're not willing to pay him that amount of money when they can get someone who will take a fraction of the money, and it will still. They're almost in a stupid position where, like you say, they could put him in with so many names who would just take it for a much smaller purse just to be involved in that level of fight, and it would still sell really well. I think that also, if they go the Charles Martin route, for me, I'd rather they waited and went against the proper champion, Tyson Fury, than taking the easy option. I just think it's almost too easy to do. I think Charles Martin's terrible, and I don't imagine that Charles Martin's asking for £3 or £4 million because, in dollar terms, that's just insane money. Even they probably wouldn't try that. But I don't think he's worth investing that amount of money in, because the credibility you get for beating him is so low. You're better off being against beating mine.
Credibility from who, though? The credibility that they care about is from casuals. And if casuals hear the word Anthony Joshua, world champion,
I disagree.
Skyrocket him. Absolutely.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, it would top up, but I disagree. I think casuals, everyone knows that Tyson Fury is a heavyweight champion of the world.
They think it's a joke, though.
But like I said, heavyweights not like other weights. For me, people always look for that one champion. And I think that until Joshua beats Fury, or if he beats Klitschko, I think from a lot of people, even the casuals, they won't perceive him to be a proper world champion. And that's unlike any other, that's my opinion, unlike any other weight. I don't think Charles Martin's worth the money bringing him over. I think it's a crappy fight, but I don't want to see Joshua in with Chisora or in with a guy just coming for a payday. And like Adam says, despite the crap that Eddie and Barry come out with, he's still got to learn, and I think he needs a high-quality international opponent. I think someone like Takam is a good way to go, but we'll see what they come out with.
Casuals don't care. They don't care about Tyson Fury. They've proven that already. They've already. You see some of the comments from these casuals. I know these comments because I routinely search them out and retweet them for laughs. They say that Tyson Fury is going to get smashed apart by Deontay Wilder, David Haye, and Anthony Joshua. That's all they ever say. They don't give him any credit for beating Vladimir. They barely know who Vladimir is. They just think that he's ready to lose. He is keeping the belt warm for Anthony Joshua. They've given him no credit, so I don't think they'll give him any. They won't care if Joshua didn't beat the real champion. We know that Fury's the real champion at the moment, but if they just get just the words "world champion Anthony Joshua" will send them into a fucking frenzy. They don't care who it's from.
Well, I think that Paul and Alex both have a point. I think the thing is that you're right. People do normally know who the heavyweight champion is. I think it isn't like other weights. But I think that the thing is with Joshua, it just seems like the casuals in the UK, I mean, obviously I'm not over there, but I mean, from what I can glean through, social media and stuff, it seems like that all logic and reason goes out the window with respect to
it does.
Yeah, just that, while they might normally know who the heavyweight champion is, and while they might normally not regard it, if Joshua was a world champion, then he's a fucking world champion, and that's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the thing with the IBF is that they've got the story lined up for Fury there. They've got the belt that was taken off Fury unjustly. They've got the story. They're fighting for what is Fury's, and and Joshua wants all the belts. Fury wants his belt back. The story's there.
Right, moving on. Next question, Alex. George asks, will Matchroom ever lose the casual support? No AJ to bolster the weak regional cards. Leeds fans turned off by Josh Warrington, snooze face, etc. Well,
it depends if Joshua loses or he fucks off. And yeah, I mean, Hearn's got the thing about Hearn, to his credit, I give him a lot of stick, but to his credit, he knows how to make stars. He knows how to push certain fighters and basically build up shit. I think even if losing Joshua would be a massive blow, but he could find another fighter in his stable to really build up and hype up. Obviously, probably not to that sort of level because Joshua's got this, sort of uniqueness about him that he's this big, horrible heavyweight who's sparking everyone out, and that division is the most attractive to the casual audience. But certainly, he was doing absolutely fine before Joshua came along. He'll probably do fine without him. Josh Warrington as well. He's strong in Leeds. I mean, you can't really say much else about it, can you? He's going to have fights coming through.
Yeah. Donny Jack Kearney asks, which hand will Canelo have tied behind his back?
Which hand?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're thinking it's that easy, I think you're way wrong.
Okay, how much money you want to bet on it? Me and you.
What, to bet that Khan will win, or that he won't get knocked out?
No, I'll take Canelo, you take Khan, just straight win.
Well, why would I do that when I could go to Vegas and get 4-1?
Well, you want odds on it?
You got to go for the KO then, Andy. Surely.
You want odds on it then?
You got to go for the KO, Andy. Surely.
Right, okay. I'll take the KO. What odds you want on it?
I'm sorry. For religious reasons, I'm not gonna.
Fuck you, you chicken shit motherfucker.
I want to see Khan sparked out on the floor, but I think it'll be a closer fight than what a lot of people think, to be fair.
Fucking bitch ass faggot motherfucker, didn't even take my bet again. And it always revolves around about Khan, because you're fucking, you come on here and you give it the big cheese and that about fucking Khan, the greatest fighter, you're going about how he's fucking like Mayweather, as he fuck by the way. I think you've seen there's elements of fucking Mayweather, but I'll tell you this much, you have no confidence whatsoever in his fucking chin, and that's the reason why you're not taking this bet, and that's why you never took my bet against Floyd either, because Floyd might have stepped it up and actually stopped
it. I would have taken the Floyd bet for sure.
But you didn't know. This is the thing. I hounded you for fucking months for that bet. You didn't take it.
Yeah, if the fight had happened though, I would have done it. But I mean, like the thing is though, is that I mean, Khan's taking a huge risk here. I mean, that's just a simple fact. I mean, basically he has to box to a perfect game plan, as we've already all said. I mean, it would be, that's why he's paying out 4-1 and things like that, because it's a big risky fight. So, I mean, it's not me not expressing confidence in him. He's just fighting a huge man.
Right, Adam. After Hearn called out Triple G for Brook following Canelo, that's fucking funny, that, by the way. List the top
That
three
is.
bullshit statements he's ever made. Now, you
Oh
you
God.
might need some help here, but I'll remember one recently when he says that AJ might not only be the greatest that Britain's ever seen, the world has ever seen, and remember he went on some big long-winded spiel about Darren Barker no wanting to, or he didn't want to make Darren Barker fight Gary Golovkin. And he started going on about money and all that sort of stuff, and he just basically says, "I will take the fight provided that you make me enough money." Others are not taking the fight. But there's been a shitload of them, I suppose. Just kind of
Probably.
Yeah, we almost need a week to research.
Any statement of hype with regards to Fraudley versus Hay.
or what
Yeah.
about what you believe that Can Brook was close, then Can turned around and checkmated him right up the fart box with no load.
That's the what my favourite really has got to be where he said, "We don't need Scott Quigg. Frampton will knock out Scott Quigg," and then 6 months later it was complete role reversal. That's one of my favourites.
That was a good one. That was a
That,
good one.
that, yeah, that. I mean, I miss the intros that we used to have. We used to have that in the intro.
Yeah. Paul D Dog asks, is Eubank versus Blackbelt even happening? 4 weeks away, still no announcement. If not, what's next for Eubank Jr.?
It's quite a confusing one, this is, because there's a lot of rumours. Yeah, there's a lot of rumours going around that Eubank Jr. Is very frustrated about the situation and he wants to be back on Sky. And that it's obviously it was Eubank Senior's decision to pull them out after Hearn failed to win that purse bid. Yeah, I mean the timing isn't a problem because I think that if Hennessy's deal with Channel 5 wouldn't work in a way where they'd probably book something that far in advance. If it is going to be a Channel 5 fight, which it certainly would seem to be, it's one of two options. He's either got a date in mind and both fighters know about it but they've not announced it, or he's looking to put it as part of the Fury Klitschko event, depending on what happens with that. In a way, that would be a good thing because it'd settle for Eubank Jr. because it gets him back on Sky, but he's not working on an Eddie Hearn promotion. So I think the fight will still happen. I don't think Eubank has any intention of avoiding that fight, but I think in terms of details, I wouldn't expect anything imminent until we find out what's happening with the big fellas.
It'd be a shame if it didn't happen because that's a fight I'm really looking forward to, and I think it's the one that Nick Blackwell deserves. It's a fight that Chris Eubank Jr. wants. A point on Eubank Jr. Following on Snapchat and some of his training, he's had his right elbow heavily strapped for a few weeks now. I don't know whether that's anything to read into, but it's definitely looks like an ongoing issue.
Okay, whoever's mucking about in the background there, I want you to cut it out for me. Paul?
It's not me.
Donnie, sorry.
No, it was me. Sorry.
Right. Donnie, Darren Parsons, WBC have ordered basically Peterson Berto winner to fight as mandatory for Danny Garcia. And will Femi ever be ready for pound the best heavyweight in Martin? Well, what we do is just skip the Joshua stuff because we've already discussed the Martin fight. Just discuss the Berto mandatory situation with Danny Garcia.
So it's going to be Peterson Berto. Well,
Yeah,
I guess if you figure Peterson wins that fight, I think that Peterson, in many ways, is owed a rematch with Garcia, perhaps even more than Khan is, because at least Khan got knocked out. At least he lost clean to Garcia, whereas like Peterson arguably beat him, or at the very least it was very, very close. So I mean, I'll watch part Peterson Garcia too. Garcia will get the benefit of the doubt on the cards again, but if it's remotely close. But I mean, I have no problem with that. Peterson should have gotten a media rematch after that first fight, in my opinion, anyway. So I have no issue with that.
Right, Alex, you back, mate? No, he's not back. Okay. Adam Luke Booth asks 2 hours of debate on who are the bigger pair of cunts, Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler, or Eddie Hearn and Joe Gallagher.
I'm gonna have to stick up for Eddie, so I'll go for answer A, please. That's not 2 hours of debate though, is it?
Yeah, we can't debate that much, I mean, what do you want to debate? The fucking Holocaust or the fucking Russian Revolution?
I don't think any of us are capable of debating that for 2 hours.
I am.
I
I've got a
don't
history
know.
degree.
I can do a bit of debating on all World War stuff. Don't you worry about that, boy.
Alex? What degree have you got?
History.
You've got a history degree.
Mm-hmm.
You should get a job.
What's it going to be like? Fucking? Is it going to be like the fucking Nick Oliver walking about the fucking BBC, like fucking Studios of Power, and doing shows on Scottish history and English Edwardian times and all that sort of shit, you know?
Quick point on Gallagher though. I find quite weird. Like, I don't hate Joe Gallagher, which I know is a problem on here. However, the Sky show, that the behind the scenes media tour, it seems to me that everyone's watching it. I don't know if you've seen it, and everyone's getting completely opposite views on it. I watched it and thought that Gallagher came across okay, and Frampton came across quite frustrated. But a lot of people are watching it and going, I can't believe how riled up and how annoying Joe Gallagher is. It's quite weird. I think that in that particular fight and in that situation, you're either one side or the other. I mean, I'm fairly neutral on it, but I think for the majority of fans, they either hate Hearn, hate Gallagher, or they don't like Carl Frampton. I don't think there's any sort of in between. That's why, as much as I'm going to the fight, I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait for Quigg Frampton to be out of the way. I hope it's not close. I hope we don't need a rematch. I just want it to be cut and clean and it be gone forever.
Alex, Team Algeria asks, can you do a breakdown for laughs, a Kell Brook versus Granny Golovkin fight? The guys are evil, man. I think we've really got some sadomasochists listening to this podcast.
The real question is would Golovkin do a better job than the machete attacker? And I think he would.
Is that the guy from Ramsbottom?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a technical breakdown. Kell Brook gets sparked out.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, that one.
I think he could last a while, though, because it seems like he's a big dude.
He is a big dude, and they will look to kind of hug and hold and stuff and try and jab and all that sort of stuff, but ultimately, I mean, Triple G will probably just box his way into distance and land something at some point. I mean, I'm not saying his chin's absolutely, he's not a good chin, Brook, but, there's limits and proportions as to what you can take, and Golovkin is a bad puncher, so. Right, second last question. Adam, if it happens, this is from Bill G, if it happens, who wins Saunders versus Eubank rematch?
Well, the bookies say Eubank Jr. I say Saunders. I'm really big fan of Saunders, to be honest. Just the way he's gone about his business, beat all these undefeated fighters, gone the traditional route, excellent performance against Andy Lee. But obviously Eubank is, of the two, it's obviously quite clear to say that Eubank has got more scope for improvement from the first fight to, say, today, or if and when the rematch is signed. It'll be close again, but I would still pick Billy Joe. I like the way he goes about his business.
I've seen Billy Joe, a picture of him the other day there actually. He's looking quite hefty. So
He is, to be fair, yeah.
I would probably still pick him to beat Eubank in the rematch anyway. I just think Eubank probably will. He'll fight more in this fight, I think, if it was to harm. I think it was more the point is he just hadn't been, more than, was it 5 rounds at that point or something? So it was more kind of like,
he didn't trust his stamina.
Yeah, judging his stamina and stuff. But I think he knows he can now fight at a tempo now for 12 rounds. Know that he'll be able to keep doing it though.
I mean, the thing is though, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be a hater of Saunders, but like, I mean, basically, Andy Lee has been through a lot of wars. I mean, I thought that he probably should have won that a little bit wider if he was really, an A-level fighter. And I mean, really, there are people out there who scored their fight for Lee, many of them. It was a very close win. He's not jumping to give Andy Lee a rematch.
No, but
Obviously,
people thought Saunders lost to Andy Lee.
there are some people. Yeah, it was a split decision, wasn't it?
No.
I thought it was quite a clear victory for Billy Joe.
I've seen a few Irish people say it, but no one else.
Well, all right. Anyways, it was a close fight, though. I mean, I thought it was close, but I mean, and then of course you got the victory over Eubank Jr., which is a guy that like basically had no amateur career and who fought a lot of trash before he ultimately stepped up and fought Saunders, and Saunders faded late in that fight too. I mean, I just feel like he's just waiting to get. I mean, as soon as he steps up, I mean, he's going to milk that belt for a little while. Obviously, that's why he didn't take the.
Who, Saunders milking that belt? Surely no, he's cutting about tin with it like a new tracksuit.
What'd you say?
Saying you talk about Saunders and his belt, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen a guy run about. It's like a guy run about with a new tracksuit for the first time, or a fucking football top and stuff. He's so proud to get it. He's never got it off, and you need to take it off and wash it and clean it all the time. He's never got it off.
He probably wears it in the shower.
Yeah, takes it to bed with him.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's probably why he didn't take the $3.2 million. He didn't want to give up that belt. But I mean, yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I feel like he's gonna milk it for a little while, and then I don't see him hanging on to it for very long once he steps up the level of competition after he gets a few defenses in there.
Donnie, just on the stamina of getting the Eubank fight, I think that was more a case of Eubank finishing strongly rather than Billy Joe finishing poorly, because Eubank started so slowly.
But that's what you'd expect when because Saunders. That was at first that was a fight of levels because. So, I mean, Eubank Jr. had never seen any, a fighter who was legit like that. I mean, he just hadn't fought at that level. And then I think once Eubank Jr. got some confidence in himself, yeah, that's probably a part of it too. But, I mean, doesn't Saunders, absolutely, kill himself to make weight?
He certainly trains himself a bit to make weight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any more than anyone else, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's going to sap your stamina in the late rounds, Look at, Canelo also, too, is another person who's been, charged as having a bit of a stamina issue as well. And, I mean, it's no coincidence that he goes from 154, or 155, I should say, and rehydrates up to 172. I mean, when you're cutting that kind of weight, you can't come back 36 hours later and expect to have a full tank, when it gets into the championship rounds.
Right, final question. Now, as I say to the listeners again, run about this area of the podcast, the download section, you will probably get the Ron Katz interview. As you know, we've no fights to review for next week, so we're going to end the show with this week in boxing history, and that'll be it. You can go fuck off and enjoy the Super Bowl or the rest of your Sunday evening. But the last question comes from Rick Law. I'll open up to everyone. A bit before my time, so just asking a question: how would David Haye at cruiserweight do against Evander Holyfield at cruiserweight?
That's a good question.
Try to think objectively here.
Do you think that? I think. Go on, mate.
When you go.
I was going to say Holyfield has the single better win at the weight. I think we'd all agree.
Oh, it's Holyfield, definitely.
Yeah, so I think we'd all agree on that. In terms of what they achieved at the weight, I don't think there isn't a conversation there. In terms of the fight, I mean, Haye was big. He was big at cruiser. I don't know, I just can't look past Holyfield. I was, at that weight class, everyone thinks of Holyfield for what he did at heavyweight, but at the lower weight class, he was absolutely stunning. I don't think Haye would have touched him, to be honest.
Well, he definitely wouldn't knock him out anyway. I really don't believe that.
No. He wouldn't have knocked him out, and I don't think he'd have been able to, like I said, for a lot of people, honestly, go back and against before my time, but when I went down to Sky and I saw when I met Holyfield, they talked a lot about his earlier days, and I went back and watched a lot of what I could. He was brilliant. Go on.
Can I ask a question, right? Did anybody ask him what his toughest fight was? And I bet I know the answer to it. It wasn't a heavyweight.
No, he did, and I'm trying to think what he answered. Was it the
It was the first fight with Dwight Muhammad?
Yeah, Dwight Muhammad. That's what he said.
That was
I think he also said that was probably his favourite. In terms of, they asked him like, what was the best win? What was your favourite win? And besides the bow stuff, I think that was one of the fights. I'm sure he said the first fight with Mohamed Kouai
yeah,
was
great fight.
again when he. I think that was when he was at his peak at either weight.
It was only, I think he was only like early 20s at the time. I mean, by that point, after he beat him, it was a split decision victory. He gave up, I think he lost about a stone in weight just with dehydration and stuff. He ended up pissing muscle residue, which we've discussed many times. And then he beat, I think he beat Tillman, who was a gold Olympic gold medalist, and he beat Cowie again. Then he beat De Leon, who was probably like a long-standing champion as well. I think he beat Johnny Nelson, and Johnny Nelson felt his breeks. So.
Well, he was a world champion within 2 years of turning over, wasn't he? I mean, his progression. When we look at what a lot of fighters do now, I mean, his progression was stunning. And like I said, he fought the guys at the weight. And when we talk about that Hay comparison, you have to say, to be fair, at cruiser, Hay got the unification with Enzo Mack. He beat Mormek, who was probably at the time regarded as the number one in the division.
Number one in the
so he cleaned out at cruiserweight. Holyfield did the same, but Holyfield's a better fighter.
Okay. Right, Bellew of the week. Now, because we've no fights this week and stuff, and we've just been generally chatting bollocks and that, just to kind of pass the time as well, I'm going to be playing some audios on the podcast this week, just because I really can't really do these Bellew of the weeks any justice whatsoever, because it's best hearing it. Basically, I can't really put it across any better than letting the people who say this shit say it for them. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Now, the first nomination goes out to Spencer Fearon on the 22 podcast. He called Erislandi Lara Brian Lara, and apparently he's from Trinidad and Tobago. I've got a nomination here for Aisha. As you know, she's one of the two big Amir Khan fans. Early nomination for Bellew of the Week, claiming Khan Canelo will be in a 60,000 arena in Vegas. Sky Sports News website. Now, this is actually writing to a tweet from Glenn McCrory. There was like, you know how they get these things on download for Sky Sports and stuff like that, and it says Glenn McCrory Sport and Triumphs, and in the captions a picture of fucking Nick Faldo with the open trophy. I think it's starting to get actually quite obvious with this what's happening. I think people are. Sky Sports are really just wanting the Bellew of the Week award every fucking week because they're getting nominated every week and it's actually getting pretty poor.
Well, we know some of them listen. I reckon they're doing it every week. They're getting a crafty article out just to get this nomination. I'm convinced.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Agogo, apparently he claimed he only needs 6 active months and he'd be ready to beat Billy Joe Saunders because he's not a great champion. Okay. Ellie Stinkboz, aka Ellie Setback. How this fucking idiot has even resembled any success in boxing, but I think it just probably tells you as to how.
I hate this guy.
I think it just basically explains to how fucking open the door is for fucking anybody to walk into boxing. But anyway, with one of these videos, I think it was released 31st of January, and I know it's now 7th of February, but anyway, this was good. He's got a video titled Who is Next for B-Hop, right? And the options are, and he even asked one of the people he was interviewing, the options were as follows. No laughing at the back there, right? Carol Froch, Andre Ward, which he's already knocked that one back, Triple G, and this is what gets really good, Tyson Fury or King Kong Ortiz. See me say King Kong Ortiz, literally almost shat with fucking disbelief. I don't care who it is, man. Fucking Ortiz would fucking walk through anybody fucking from light heavyweight upward. Come on, man.
So in all that, he managed to suggest one person who was in Hopkins' weight class then?
Yep.
So he's just listed a bunch of super middleweights and heavyweights. Ellie Setback, again, let's not knock journalists. You appreciate how blooming good Kugan Cassius is when you watch Ellie Setback videos. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And my final nomination goes to David Hay. Now this one I'm going to play over the speakers because it lasts for about a minute. I can't really do anything about it, guys, because this is just pure spin and hype from David Hay. Give me a second here, just play this shit.
3.5 years out of the ring, obviously had hampered with some horrendous injuries, a big shoulder operation and whatnot. It took like 1.5 years just to rehab it and to get me back in perfect physical condition, got a new coach, new team, and to walk out there at the O2 Arena, 16,000 people, it was like it was one of the best moments of my life. And to go out there and knock somebody out who was ranked in the top 10 in the world, who had never lost in 11 years, it's easy to look in hindsight and say the guy was no good, but he was a top 10 ranked fighter, and I hadn't had a fight for 3.5 years. So to go in there and dispatch of him real quick like I did, it proves that I'm back on firing all cylinders.
131 seconds, almost over before it began.
You don't get paid for overtime in boxing, so get in there, get out. I didn't really take much punishment in the process, and roll on to the next one. May 21st, back at the O2 Arena, doing it again. Tickets on sale. I'm looking forward to just getting cracking again and just really working my way up to that world title and regain the heavyweight championship of the world.
Fuck's sake.
There you go. One of the greatest moments of his life was beating a fucking club fight in front of 16,000 fans at the O2 Arena in one round.
Yeah, I imagine it was fucking good time. Imagine how much you got paid for that fucking farce. I'd love to make that sort of fucking money for doing fuck all.
The hate is real. The hate is very real. Alex, you had a nomination, mate?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much about her, but I think this one really trumps it. Amir Khan, fair play to him. I've given him a lot of plaudits this week and a lot of credit for taking on this Canelo fight, but it hasn't taken him long to fall back into the bad books, as it were, to fall back into becoming basically a bit of a knob, which is always, what he has been. An interview with Ring Magazine, he's talking about the Canelo fight, and he basically just says this: I believe this fight between Canelo and I is getting more attention than a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're looking at 4 million pay-per-view buys for this fight, are we?
I reckon Canelo Cotto, this won't even beat Canelo Cotto.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh,
That's tragic.
Jesus.
It just didn't take him long, did it? I mean, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. What you got,
Wait.
Donnie?
I was gonna say, how about a nomination, just in general? I don't even think you have to even say, just a nomination for Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn this week.
Well, Eddie Hearn can get one for claiming Kell Brooks wanted to fight Golovkin, and they wanted to make that fight.
And Brook for asking it, but I just think because they got absolutely toyed with, turned inside out. Brook's he's basically got his member out waiting for that contract to come through, and Eddie Hearn's going to say, keep it in your hand, mate. It's coming. Don't worry about it. You're going to come. You're going to get it. Don't worry about it. It's going to come. Boom. 5 o'clock. What happened? Fighting Canelo. Oh, fuck. Get me Golovkin now, baby.
Yeah, Khan's got all these fighters now feeling like Hercules. They're all like, I'm going to fight Canelo. It's like, all right, I'm going to fight Golovkin. Like they're trying to one-up each other in terms of, like, fucking, like, suicide missions. Just
Adam, Paul, he's got anything?
Yeah, mine is, this is an ongoing issue of hatred for me. Floyd Mayweather over in the UK, his inability to answer a question, and I will only give one example because there are hundreds. So he was asked by Gareth A. Davis, Floyd, what's it like to be in the UK? You've had such good support from British fans over the years. Is it good to be over here? And he answered, well, at the moment, I'm just concentrating on bringing through the next generation of fighters, and I'm blessed. No relation to the question. He is physically incapable of answering a question. If he's asked a question that goes beyond his 7 or 8 pre-selected answers, he just looks like a broken computer. And there are hundreds of examples. Watch any Floyd Mayweather interview, whether it's Coogan's, Gareth Davis, or even when he was asked questions by the crowd, why you'd pay, and he's coming to Cannock, he's going to be 10 minutes down the road from me, why you'd pay hundreds of pounds to listen to that robot talk, I don't understand.
Be honest, man, be honest. I think when Floyd looked at Gareth A. Davis, he's saying to himself, who the fuck's this alcoholic fucking vagrant,
But why can't he do it? I don't get it. He's not a fighter anymore. He hasn't got he's got to protect his reputation, but he's not probably being controlled as much as he was, as much as he always said he was his own boss. That was nonsense. I just don't get why he's. I know he's not a very intellectual guy, but when you hear him talk openly, and he's done it a couple of times, like one of the Showtime interviews with Jim Gray, when he actually talks like a real person, he's not bad to listen to, but when he's in this robot mode, honestly, nothing annoys me more than listening to him.
It was
Yeah,
quite funny watching
there
him.
are certain I think like reporters or whatever that he trusts, right? Like he trusts Jim Gray because he knows like, all right, Showtime's invested in me, or at least they were, and they're not gonna like do anything to make me look bad, and he trusts Fight Hype, right? Because that's like his preferred media outlet of choice. They in exchange for access to him, they sort of never really say or ask any tough questions that would make him look bad or anything like that. But like when he's on with an interviewer that he doesn't know or trust, he goes into like Floyd bot mode where it's just like you said, like about 8 pre-selected answers, and if it's not, if something deviates from the script, it's like, oh, I cannot compute,
Yeah, pretty poor. Right, so nominations.
Andy, I've got one.
All right.
Amir Khan himself tonight. I'm surprised Alex
Times
let this.
two. Season 2 nominations this week.
Yeah, well, let me just get the actual quote up. It don't help because I don't actually follow Amir Khan, so I struggle to find what he said. Something along the lines of.
I've got it if you need it, mate.
Yeah, go on, go for it.
Right, the quote is, where is it? Oh, I think he might.
Can't sell tickets or something.
I think he's deleted it.
Oh.
He tweeted. I'm just looking now. He basically, he tweeted saying, just seen that Floyd's having to cancel shows. Something about him being, and he ducked me, and he's not a ticket seller or something like that. But yeah, he's deleted the tweet.
Was he?
Mm.
I retweeted it. Maybe just check see if it's still there.
It's not on his timeline.
Has Saj been fucking about with his Twitter account?
Although he had a brilliant, a day after he announced his major fight, his Twitter account got hacked and all that spam and porn that he was sending out, I thought was hilarious.
That's just him, mate, that was.
Right, so nominations are as follows. We've got Spencer Fearon, Aisha, Sky Sports website, David Hay, Anthony Agogo, LA fucking Stinkboz, Amir Khan ×2, Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook, and Floyd Mayweather. So Adam, who gets your vote?
Well, I'm voting for Aisha because I want both Aisha and Christine to win back-to-back weeks of Value of the Week. That would be brilliant. So I'm voting for Aisha.
Donnie?
I'm between Hay and Khan. The Mayweather Pacquiao comment is pretty fucking good.
Well, you're not going to vote for Khan.
I gotta go for Hay though. I mean I'm going for Hay.
Hey, okay, Paul?
I'm actually going to nominate Eddie Hearn for this week just for having a disaster of a week. He didn't, and his interview for mentioning the fact that they offered the Golovkin fight for Brook. It's just ridiculous.
That's both of them.
That's the combination of. I mean, we never heard that come out of Brook's mouth. That's why I'm nominating Hearn. But if that is what actually happened, that's just ludicrous. So yeah, I'm nominating for having one of the most shocking weeks ever. And for announcing nothing.
Well, as much as I'd like to shit on Eddie a bit more, I've got to give it to Khan. I mean, that's just fucking outrageous.
For which one?
The fucking Mayweather Pacquiao comment.
Which one was that, mate?
Saying that his fight's going to be bigger than Mayweather Pacquiao.
Yeah. So it comes down to me to get the cast and vote, and I think it's only fair that we kind of give it to Amir Khan. I mean, I can't wait for this fight to break all pay-per-view records and merchandise sales and stuff. It will be the most richest fight in the history of the sport. So Amir Khan.
So Amir Khan's had probably the best week of
his life.
Best week of respect in his life, and he still wins the Belly of the Week.
Yep, congratulations, Amir Khan. I know Donnie, you'll be very happy. Put the lube away.
Yet another title for Big Amir.
Yep. Now, as you know, the Ron Katz interview will last 45 minutes, so we'll just briefly wrap it up, just to let the kind of listeners know, is this week in boxing history. So this week is, well, I'll run it from the 1st, which was Monday, to today, which is the 7th. Okay, so 1st of February 1965, Floyd Patterson beat George Cavallo over 12 rounds. It was 1965 Fight of the Year by Ring Magazine. Floyd scored a unanimous decision of 6-5-1, 7-5 and 8-4 in scorecards with a live gate of $166,500 with $600,000 from Theatre TV. This, to that date, was the richest non-title fight in history. On the 2nd of February 1970, Carlos Zarata KO'd Luis Castanda in 3 rounds. It was Zarata's pro debut. 1973 saw Ike Ibeabuchi being born, so aka the President. 2nd of February 1980, Salvador Sanchez defeated Little Red Lopez in the 13th round to win the WBC featherweight title. It was a punch perfect performance that from Chava. 3rd of February 1938 saw the birth of Emil Griffiths, born under the name of Emil Alfonso Griffith. 1990, Mike McCallum defeated Steve Collins over 12 rounds, retained the Panamanian middleweight title. 1996, Marco Antonio Barrera stopped Kennedy McKinney in 12 rounds. It was also the debut of HBO's Boxing After Dark.
Oh, that was such a great fight.
Right. 2001, Costa Zoo knocked out Shambi Mitchell. I think it was a 7th round knockout. I think that's the first fight. I think they fought twice, I believe. 4th of February 1952, Kid Gavilan defeats Bobby Dykes in 15-round decision, retained the world welterweight title. It was boxing's first racially mixed bout in Florida, and Gavilan won by split scores 1-4-2 to 1-4-1, 1-4-5 to 1-3-9, and 1-4-2 to 1-4-1 to Bobby Dykes. 1960 saw Carlos Ortiz KO Battling Torres in the 10th round to retain the super lightweight title, which was a really good fight, that if I remember rightly. 1979 saw Alexis Arguello stop Alfredo Escalera in the 13th round in Rimini, Italy. That was actually the rematch. Really bloody fight that actually. Both fighters badly cut, needing numerous stitches after that fight. This will lighten the middle a little bit. 1998, 4th of February, saw Don King robbed of a $100,000 diamond encrusted Rolex watch when 4 armed men stopped the promoter's car in Mexico City. 5th of February, this will be one for all you Jake LaMotta fans and stuff. 1943, Jake LaMotta defeated Sugar Ray Robinson in 10 rounds in Detroit. After 40 straight pro victories and an 85-0 amateur record, Robinson finally suffered his first defeat. 1967 saw Dick Tiger defeat the great Jose Torres in 15 rounds to retain the world light heavyweight title. All 3 judges had the fight 8-7 in rounds, 2 for Tiger and 1 for Torres. 1977, Sugar Ray Leonard defeated Louis Vega in 6 rounds in Baltimore. It was Ray Leonard's pro debut after winning the gold medal. 1994 saw Chris Eubank defeat Graciano Rocchigiani in 12 rounds in Berlin. It was a fight of the unbeatens. 1998 saw 2-time world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson file a $100 million lawsuit against Don King in the US District Court in Manhattan, alleging that his long-time promoter systematically defrauded him of tens of millions of dollars over a 10-year period. And on the same day, in 1998, middleweight Ruben Bell, 24, is shot to death by an unknown assailant in the lobby of Washington Hospital Center's Cancer Institute, where he was being treated for colon cancer.
MGM.
6th of February 1931, Tommy Loughran defeated Max Baer in 10 rounds. 1967, Muhammad Ali absolutely and completely tortured Ernie Terrell over 15 rounds for Terrell's refusal to call him by his now name of Muhammad Ali, and just basically called him Cassius Clay, which Ali believed to be his slave name. 1982 saw a big upset actually, Armando Uruza knocking out Hilario Zapata in 2 rounds in Panama to win the WBC light flyweight title. And just almost tailing off, 7th of February, which is today, in 1882, Johnny O'Sullivan knocked out Paddy Ryan in Mississippi City. Now, JL actually won the bare knuckle heavyweight title on this date. Sullivan dominated the fight and won by 9th round knockout. Sullivan reigned as champion for the next 10 years, but he refused to fight any black boxer and drew what came to be known as boxing's colour line. Sullivan stated, "I will not fight a Negro, I will never have and I never shall." Legend also had it that Jesse James was in attendance in that fight. 1921 saw Jack Britton defeat Ted Kid Lewis in 15 rounds to retain the world welterweight title. This was the last of their 20 fights together. And finally, on this day, 1997, Lennox Lewis won by disqualification over Oliver McCall to regain the WBC heavyweight title, which was recently vacated by Mike Tyson due to Oliver McCall suffering what was some sort of bizarre mental breakdown in the ring. So, how's that for history?
I saw the video of that McCall thing today. It was bloody bizarre.
I thought Floyd Mayweather was the one that drew the color line. He rarely fought Negroes either.
This is true. So that's really it for this week, gentlemen. Unless there's anything you want to dive in, but I know the likes of Paul and Donnie wants to go away and watch the Super Bowl and stuff.
Are we doing the
Whoop, whoop.
Leonard thing next week?
The what next week, mate?
Leonard thing.
Yeah, we could do a bit on Ray Leonard. Yep, we could.
And me and Donnie going to do a post Super Bowl podcast review.
Well, no, mad fucking watch online.
Are you a big American football fan?
I'm quite a big fan. Yeah, I've watched it the last few years, and I always make sure I watch the Super Bowl. So I love the ad breaks.
Over there, I think it is, right?
12 o'clock midnight.
Yeah, much bigger because of the what they're doing at Wembley. You know, it's a growing sport over here in terms of the fan base, and obviously it depends if we get the London team.
They say
Right,
that
I'm
they're
turning
gonna,
this
that,
off.
that eventually a team
Right.
will-
Anyway, you can discuss it in a minute. Anyway, we're going to end the podcast here. And I'd like to thank the panel: Adam Smith, Donny Baseball, Paul Webb, Alex Morris. I can just ask the listeners, please, to send your congratulations to the award-winning Steve Wellens. Well done, Steve. We're with you, brother. You know, this was a man who was basically a target of a troll online there during the course
Vicious
of the week.
troll attack.
Vicious troll, basically
Horrible
saying,
troll.
basically saying that he was he was basically nothing but a two-bob internet writer, and his article on Brian King brought down the standards of journalistic integrity. Well, 2 days later, Steve is introduced into the ring in Belfast and presented with an award for his work to Irish boxing. Steve, mate, congratulations.
Well done, Steve.
Well done,
Well done, big
Steve.
man.
First
Anyway,
time Hall of Fame, Steve Wellens.
Cheers, Steve.
I've been your host, Andy Patterson, and we'll see you next week. All the best. Cheers.
Kurt's got a job.
Steve Wellens.
Mir,
What?
Boomaye.